What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the living room slash office. And today we are going to be covering a technique from one of my favorite posters on the Neville subreddit, ALLISMIND. One of the reasons he's one of my favorites is, first off, he's just cool. He's left comments on my videos before, and he actually is like, yo, thanks for sharing the videos. Thanks for sharing the ideas. Plus, his ideas are legit. He's one of the people that isn't taking this crazy extreme approach of never taking any action. In fact, he has posts that I've covered before that talk about how if you look at any great person, they took lots of action, and that he also believes in taking action as well. I think anybody that is actually achieving success with big things, and he was a model as well. He manifested success in his modeling career. But yeah, and at some point, man, if you ever watching this video, I would love to have a chat at some point. I really like a lot of your ideas, and discussing them in a more long form format would be amazing. That being said, this post of his is called Technique, Make Your Unwanted Beliefs Disgusting. And here he is written. This technique is inspired by this method, which is a link to another post he has called Quit Any Bad Habit. So the original post was about making your addiction or your negative habit very ugly, repulsive, disgusting, etc. I spent 2 days analyzing it and trying to find the logic behind it. Even if I never applied that method, the way it is described and the way I understood it makes me think that it is a masterpiece. So I wanted to adapt it to the law and how it can be used for changing beliefs. So here's my interpretation of the method. So here's the method. So 1, meet your undesirable belief voice, UBV. Your undesirable belief has its own voice, the UBV. The UBV wants you to give in to the negative thoughts, feelings, and perspective, and works by hijacking your inner monologue, your focus, and your perception. It will say things in your own voice like, I never have luck anyway, or I'm unworthy. The good doesn't happen to me. I'm unloved. I'm miserable. P.S. Those are just examples. Your UBV has its own messages and commentaries. You know what they are. It is every thought, feeling, or mental image that shows you things you don't want as your reality. The truth is, everything the UBV says is a lie to get you to give in to your undesirable belief/reality. It is a natural and normal process and function of every belief. All beliefs, positive or negative, are fighting for their own survival, and they will do everything to convince you of their truth. This is very good when it is a positive belief, and it is what makes it a little bit tricky to give up the undesirable belief/reality. Now you understand it, so it should be easy. 2, learn to recognize your UBV. And Napoleon Hill likens this as the devil. In his book, Outwitting the Devil, it is essentially, he has an interview with the devil, and it's that voice on the shoulder, like ALLISMIND is referring to, that is this undesired belief, this voice that comes in. It's not really our own creation. It's almost like it really is, I think, in a lot of cases, it's like our mind's picking up these things. It's like a receiving station, one of John Kehoe's laws of the mind. The mind is a sending and receiving station of thought. So in many times, we're having these thoughts or even these feelings that we're kind of picking up from the collective consciousness around us, and we identify with them. But that's why many of these spiritual teachings teach you not to identify with those thoughts and in many cases those feelings, because your thoughts and your feelings are a feedback loop. Okay. So it has it. Okay. Learn to recognize your UBV. Your UBV can be brought to light by making the law rules. The law is unbreakable and doesn't require any willpower to follow. Does it require willpower for you to not steal a car or rob a bank? No. The law cannot be broken at any point. Write down your law if it helps, but the most important part is defining it. E.g., I will never think or feel like a victim. Or I will never think and feel like a poor or unloved person. But how can this help you recognize your UBV? Because any thought/feeling that pops in your head that contradicts the law is the UBV, not you. Create a UBV avatar. Assign an avatar to your UBV. For example, my victim UBV was an old, disgusting man who is nothing but a lifeless shadow who's trying to make you like him. When you hear him say, look, you're a victim, you should feel so bad now and cry, I'd say, fuck off, you're nothing but an illusion. Again, this is an example. You have to decide for yourself how you see the UBV. What is certain is that he will never lead you to your desirable reality. He is only keeping you in the undesirable reality and protects it. Negative thoughts or feelings aren't really happening to you. They are happening to your UBV avatar. Your UBV avatar wants to give in, not you. You want your excellent life. Without you giving in, they will disappear and die. Your true self is already free of this unwanted thoughts and feelings, so the negativity isn't happening to you. They are happening to your UBV. You just have to make sure to not associate with them, no matter how hard they are convincing. Extra tip, never negotiate. If you keep playing with your UBV and trying to argue, you will just end up giving in. As soon as you recognize your UBV, shut it down. It is not leading you to your amazing life, so destroy it. Make your avatar ugly, disgusting, repulsive, awful. They are the scum of the earth. Always remember, your UBV cannot make you do anything. All it can do is speak to you. You don't have to do what it says, and you won't if you want your great reality. Your cravings, negativity, and the UBV will disappear faster than you realize, but never let your guard down. Now go out there and kick your UBV's ass and say goodbye to your undesirable beliefs. I love it. I love it how he's personified this. And it reminds me a lot of my conversation recently with Yvonne Chacron, who was a scientist, but we were talking about how to understand the idea of demons through science, like being a psychological force. But it also bears repeating that it's like this archetypal energy, and these archetypes, they exist throughout time and space. So in the collective consciousness, if this kind of feeling or thought force takes hold of us, that can be also likened to what people describe as possession, or being, an entity, or demonic possession, or really just being compelled to do something. We've all had that feeling, like we had in our conversation, of you're compelled to do something that you know is going to bring you harm. But why is that? Because these archetypes are now, it's almost like that archetype is taking you over. And so that's what All Is Mind, I believe, is talking about. You can imagine this as like a little gremlin, or that ugly thing that he's describing here, this ugly caricature. And you're just going to tell it to fuck off, like he says. So yeah. All right. So somebody said, "This is gold. What I like to do is say fake news in a Donald Trump voice. It makes me laugh too." Somebody else says, "I've been dealing with this ever since I was a kid. I was asked my siblings to do you guys have more than one voice in your head?" Somebody said, "This is definitely the best technique to stop having unwanted beliefs. I was experimenting with something similar to what you're saying. Seeing them as kind of someone else, an ugly being." Right. If we don't do that, we start feeling guilty when we realize that we've, again, been having the wrong beliefs and thinking unkindly of others. I sure thought many times, I know the law and I still think in a wrong way. What's wrong with me? And that decreases my self-concept, confidence, and self-image. If we see these things as being external, we don't take on that guilt, and it's easier to regain control. The winning combination for me at the moment is having this external UBV, old, wrinkled, ugly woman, looking old and scary, so this makes me want to stay away, saying bye or whatever to any negative thoughts. I learned this from one of your posts, asking myself, do I want this to be true? And when I think of something, also got from one of his posts, a ring for this purpose to remind me all this when mental awareness fails. I like that a lot. I've used that practice before, actually, of having a ring, and some sort of physical object like that makes you remember these things. It's like an anchor in NLP and hypnosis. Okay, this can also work with getting a good habit by turning around, create a good avatar. Right, exactly. That is modeling, in essence. Dwelling on those good archetypes, the king, the warrior, the magician, dwelling in those powerful archetypes, which are going to allow you to have strength, to have that certainty, to have that poise, that emotional equilibrium that really is going to enable you to rise to the occasion and face any challenge or difficulty with confidence and with that self-assuredness that we all could use. People, the UBV avatar seems to be the devil. Yep. And people love to blame everything outside instead of being honest, facing themselves. That's a classic. Well, yeah, but you could liken it to, whatever makes, that's why referring to, like I said, these archetypes and these things is useful, because they're just in the collective consciousness. They really are. So the more that you dwell on certain states of consciousness or certain avatars or archetypes, the more that you're going to be informed by that. So yeah, this is one powerful technique. There are other techniques. I'm going to have a bunch of techniques in my book when I release it, the Robotic Affirming book. It's going to be a handbook of literally everything that I've come up with in terms of using affirmations, using, essentially your inner conversations, mental diet, and rewriting that internal story, internal dialogue, so that you are now thinking in accordance with your desires and with your goals and dreams, and not, again, reacting to this UBV, undesirable belief voice, or devil on your shoulder, or whatever it is that you perceive that to be. Because these negative voices in our heads, they're common to everybody, and everybody suffers from them. Doesn't matter how much success somebody has, there's always that voice of doubt. There's always the resistance. Everybody has this going on, and having these tools and methods at our disposal is really, really powerful. That's why I love this technique. I wanted to share it with you guys. But yeah, guys, let me know down below your thoughts on this. How you feel about this. Do you resonate with these ideas, kind of like crafting this external caricature or avatar that kind of is just gross and disgusting looking? How do you perceive these kind of negative thoughts and voices in your head, and then feeling states as well? Because once you realize that voice is what's causing your negative feeling states, you realize that your feelings don't necessarily belong to you either. And that's where the ego, or the devil, or whatever you want to call it, slips in and is the UBV, the undesired voice, and is very, very insidious. Because sometimes when we have these feelings, we think that they're our own. We have these thoughts, we think that they're our own. They're not. We're picking up on this. And now our feelings are it's like we've been hijacked by this foreign entity. So guys, let me know your thoughts on this down below. How do you guys deal with this for yourselves? And if you've used any method that's similar to this, or what your own methods are, I would be very curious. There's various methods, like I said, I'm going to be breaking down. But I always enjoy hearing people's processes, and I think that this one right here is really valuable. So with that being said, much love as always. Drop us a like, hit me with a subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.